Hi, and welcome to Love Your Life Coaching with me, Chris Tackett. Today we're going to talk about stress, depression, and the holidays. And the reason that I chose this is clearly right now is holiday season, but I am also a nurse besides being a life coach. And this week at work, I ran a group with some of my clients on dealing with stress and depression and making the holidays more meaningful. And this topic really spawned a lot of discussion amongst my clients. And so I thought that it would be a perfect opportunity to share it with you all as well, and hopefully get some of your juices flowing and get you thinking about some better ways to handle the holidays and some ideas to help keep your stress and depression down during the holidays. Because it can ruin the holidays. It can hurt your health. But there are some things that we can do to help ward off some of that stress and depression. The holiday season for most of us begins with Thanksgiving, which has passed, but maybe you can rewind and watch this another time till next year, because it's information that's going to be good forever, right? But it goes all the way in through New Year's. So we still have some prime opportunity here to plan ahead and get some of this stuff worked out so that maybe you can enjoy being with your family and friends a little bit more. Often we're trying to pull off this perfect holiday, and we have all of these demands: parties, shopping, baking, cleaning, wrapping, entertaining. Plus we still have to work and go to school and do all of those other things as well. So we've already got stressful lives, and then we add all of these things in on top. It's the making of a disaster for your health and for your happiness. So the first thing I want to talk about are recognizing the triggers, and there are 3. So the first one is relationships. And relationships can cause turmoil. We all know that. But in the holiday season, it's sort of a pressure cooker environment of getting a whole bunch of relationships and personalities together in the same room. So tensions can get heightened during the holidays. Family misunderstandings and conflicts can intensify, especially if you're thrust together for a couple of days. And on the other hand, so we have some conflicts, right? But on the other hand, you may be missing some loved ones at your holiday gatherings this year. And that can be tough and can leave you feeling lonely and sad as well. So thinking about your relationships and where they stand ahead of time before you go in there and how can you handle them is going to be a big issue. So that's one trigger, relationships. The next trigger is finances. With the added expenses of gifts and travel and food and entertainment, the holidays can start to put a real strain on our budget. So, and your peace of mind, really, right? And not to mention that overspending can mean financial worries for months to come. So it's not even just in this immediate spending time, but then you're paying those bills for months or sometimes years at a time. So relationships, finances, and the third one is the physical demands. Even die-hard holiday lovers may find that extra demand takes a huge toll on their energy and leaves them feeling kind of wiped out. Being exhausted increases your stress, and it creates a big vicious cycle. And when you're stressed and tired and not sleeping, you feel more stressed, and our resistance goes down for infections. And so now everybody's got colds and flus and feeling sick on top of still having all that stress, working on these other triggers, relationships and finances, and the physical demands. So exercise and sleep are 2 really powerful antidotes to physical demands and feeling that stress. But the problem with the holidays is when you have all this extra time devoted to shopping, cooking, traveling, all these other things, you lose that time for sleep and exercise, or you put it on the back burner. So since we now know the 3 triggers that cause stress and depression for the holidays, let's talk about what can we do to alleviate some of that stress and depression. So I have 10 tips for taking control of the holidays, because when stress is at its peak, it's really hard to stop and regroup. And so the whole idea will be to prevent the stress and depression in the first place. But that doesn't mean if you're already feeling it, because we're mid-December now and you're already feeling that stress and depression, doesn't mean that you can't stop and regroup and take some deep breaths and start doing a few of these things that can help alleviate some of that stress. So the first one is plan ahead, which we might be a little bit too late for this year, but put it on your agenda for next year and you're already planning ahead, right? So set aside specific days for shopping, cooking, traveling, cleaning, all the things you need to do, visiting friends, other activities. Figure out a schedule for what those days are. Plan it ahead of time so that you can figure out how you're fitting everything together. Plan your menus and then make a shopping list. Nowadays, there are apps for your smartphones. I particularly like this one called Paprika, and if I wanted to make green bean casserole, I type that in and it gives me recipes to choose from, and then I choose one and it drops all the ingredients into my shopping list, and then I go to the store and buy the stuff that I need to make, and I have it all in one place. So, this modern technology gives us some of the freedoms to do things a little bit easier, but some of us have been making green bean casserole for our whole lives, so we already know what ingredients we need. Write them down, though, so you make sure you've got them all, okay? So make a list. That'll help prevent some of that last-minute scrambling and having to go back out to buy forgotten items. Always get the milk. And make sure that you also line up some help for that prep and cleanup, and make it fun, have everybody wear their festive Christmas outfits and put some music on and make it fun and festive, and let it go if people aren't doing everything exactly correctly. Some of us have to have the control, but try and let some of that go. And it's okay to ask for help. Sometimes people really enjoy having been invited to help with some of that stuff. They don't really mind it. So another piece of that planning ahead, plan for some of that help. The second tip is learn to say no. So this sort of ties into that asking for help, but also learning when to say no. Saying yes when you really should say no can leave you feeling resentful, angry, stressed, and overwhelmed. Friends and colleagues usually can understand if you can't participate in things that they're inviting you to. Everyone understands that the holidays have a lot of activities and events that people are committed to. It's okay to say no. So just simply telling yourself that it's okay to say no makes it a little bit easier to say no. Choose the things that are most important to you. Choose the things that you enjoy, and not always the things that other people are expecting you to attend or that you feel obligated to, because you're just increasing your stress because of that obligation or that have to. Choose some things that you enjoy doing. If it's impossible to say no, like if your boss asks you to work overtime or something like that, then figure out which of those things you can delegate to someone else. If you have some house cleaning to do or something, delegate to other family members, or kitchen prep to do, delegate those. and figure out what other things you can cut out. If you can ask your kids to go buy a gift that you had very specific, you know what you want, ask someone else to go pick it up for you. If you start thinking like that, it helps take some of that stress off of you. It's more than likely that your kids were going to be at the mall where you had to go pick that thing up anyways, right? So just have them pick it up for you, okay? Number 3 is set aside your differences. We talked a little bit already about it being kind of a pressure cooker with a lot of personalities and some history of conflicts and resentments and things already going on in your relationships. But if you decide that during this holiday season when we're together that I want to put my differences aside with my family members, you can allow your holidays to be a little bit more joyful. Often they aren't going to live up to our expectations. So we have to cognitively think about, I'm not going to let that ruin my holiday. Understand, too, that other people are feeling lots of stress and depression during this time. And so when they get upset, don't let that feed your feelings of being upset and distressed. Understand that they're going through it too. And when you understand that they are struggling, it makes you more empathetic and it's easier to deal with when other people are upset. Number 4 is reach out. If you're feeling lonely or isolated, seek out community or religious or other social events that you can go and be a part of. Some people don't have their family in town. Their grown children have moved away. Traditions and holidays change as we grow. And so you now can redefine your traditions or things that you want to try and enjoy for your own holiday. Community and religious places can offer you support and companionship. Volunteering is a great way to offer yourself and also get back because those people are so thankful for your time served with them. And there are lots of places you can volunteer. Pet shelters, animal shelters, battered women's shelters, Salvation Army, Goodwill, rehab centers, all kinds of nursing homes, all kinds of different places that you can volunteer your time. And people will be really thankful for that. It will also broaden your experiences and lift your spirits. Number 5 is acknowledge your feelings. So if someone close to you has recently died or isn't in town to celebrate the holidays with you, and you can't be with your loved ones, realize that it's normal to feel sadness and grief. And it's okay to cry and feel sad. I encourage everyone to express their feelings about these things with someone that they trust. And this was an area that we spent a lot of time on in our groups because a lot of people experience this. Not having grown children come to their family dinners who've moved away, loved ones who've passed and are missing, and traditions changing. And I encourage people to find someone who they can share their experience and express their feelings with. It will really help get it outside of you, because when we leave it in, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and more stressful. Remember too, though, that you cannot force yourself to feel happy just because it's the holiday season. And oftentimes it actually works the exact opposite. We feel sad because it's the holiday season and we feel like there's pieces missing. And recognize that that's okay and to get some support. Number 6 is be realistic. So the holidays don't have to be perfect or exactly how they were last year. As families change and grow and traditions change and grow, we may have to change some of our thoughts and rituals also. Choose a few to hold on to and be open to creating new ones. For example, if your adult children can't come to your house anymore, maybe they've moved to another state or something like that, or they have in-laws to visit, try getting together the week before, the week after the holiday, or on the holiday, try sharing emails or Skyping or videos or pictures, things like that, that can still keep you feeling connected. Again, technology can really be our best friend during these times. Number 7 is stick to a budget, and boy is this one tough. We talked about that financial strain, and we all feel it at this time. But before you go gift or food shopping, figure out a budget and stick to it. Decide how much money you can afford to spend. Don't try to buy happiness. I think that a lot of us now really kind of fall into this, trying to buy happiness without even realizing it. You know, we want to make our kids happy. We want to make mom happy. And so we put a price on that. But more often than not, it's actually the togetherness that creates the happiness. So give a homemade gift if you don't have a large budget to be working with. Do something that took a lot of time and thought, you know, creating a card or writing a letter with heartfelt sentiments. You know, I love, my daughter always gives me handprint every year. Those kind of things mean more to me than a shirt that I might wear a couple of times a year, you know? So those personal things don't have to cost a lot, which when you think about that can really help you narrow that budget down and help you more easily stick to that budget. Number 8 is stop abandoning those healthy habits. And we all do it at this time. We don't have enough time to get good sleep or go to the gym and exercise like we usually do. Make that still a priority on your list and fit it in. The other thing is overindulgence. You know, it's my favorite time of the year because I love Christmas cookies. In fact, I was just offered a whole bunch of cookies and they look so good. But there's there's that weight to lose after. So some tips and techniques for not overindulging are to eat a healthy snack before you go to the party. So eat some veggies, eat a salad, eat something, some chicken or tuna before you go to the party so that your belly has some good nutrition in it and it's not as hungry. And then you won't be as apt to eat so many cookies. Also, get enough sleep. Sleep is so important for mood, especially if you're struggling with depression, anxiety, and those kind of things. Getting a full 6 to 8 hours of sleep every night is really going to benefit you. I love apps and YouTube and things like that, and I use YouTube for some sleep meditations when I'm having difficulty sleeping because I can't stop thinking about what my budget is and who I got to buy for and all the things I have to fit into my schedule. My brain won't shut off at bedtime. So I use things like YouTube for meditation and sleep so that I can get my full hours of sleep and be raring to go to all those events I have packed into my schedule and be able to be present and enjoy them wholeheartedly. Number 9 is take a breather. Make some time for yourself. So even 15 minutes of just you time, just sitting, reading a book, taking a bath, taking deep breaths, watching TV, whatever it is you enjoy doing, just taking those 15 minutes of time for you can reset your stress response. I ask my daughter to go play in her room and give me time without interruption until I come and get her. And she's now been trained to do this, and I often have to take 15 minutes for myself so that I can now be present for her and not snapping and stressed and frustrated. And so she knows that those 15 minutes of mommy time turn out to be more beneficial to her in the long run. So if you can start making this a new ritual for you, that you take some time out for yourself and tell people not to interrupt you. Put your phone in another room, put it on silent so that you're not distracted by that stuff. It's really going to make a world of difference. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is seeking professional help if you need it. You know, despite your best efforts, you may find that you're feeling persistently sad or anxious, depressed, plagued by physical complaints, unable to sleep, irritable, hopeless, unable to face routine chores. And if those things are happening for you, get someone's professional advice and figure out some new ways to cope that maybe entail having someone else, a professional, helping you. And there's no shame in that. Depression and stress are real, and they take real physical tolls on our bodies, and the holidays can really bring that out in people. So please don't hesitate to contact a professional. Your family doctor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a life coach, whoever it may be, but contact someone. So please take control of your holiday this season. Don't let them become something that you dread, and instead take some of these steps to prevent the stress and depression that can happen during the holidays. With a little bit of planning and some positive thinking and some positive affirmations, you can find that you will enjoy the holidays more than you thought you could this year. I appreciate it, and I wish you happy holidays. Thank you so much, and if you have any questions, please email me at catackett@hotmail.com anytime. I love to hear from you.